worse. But let's move on. Match number 3 of the day. Our Flurry versus Ryvius matchup, and we can see the players' shields and the bands there. But Flurry, there's a class missing, or really a couple of classes missing.
That's
I don't
right.
see a warrior, and I don't see a priest. What's going on, Derek?
Flurry here is our only GM in all of Grandmasters, Europe, Asia Pacific, and America, to not bring Priest. We have 47 out of 48 players bringing Priest. And here, he's omitted it in favor of what appears to me to be a pretty aggressive lineup overall, with the Zoo and the Hunter that we can see there. Zoo locked in. He wants this aggressive potential no matter what. Sorry, to be able to fight back against the Priest there from Ryvius primarily. And I think also arguably against the Hunter as well. You know, maybe he can get under the bottom of those secrets and make sure he gets on board before the Hunter can claw its way back in.
Yep, both these players win my favorite player of the week award for neither of them bringing warrior, which is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have Zoo, Highlander, and Hunter, and the Quest Shaman, which both players bring in kind of interesting lists of Quest Shaman. We see there the Plague of Murlocs for Flurry, the Vulpera Scoundrel as well. And for that, he is cutting... let me just check what he's cutting, actually, because I remember that the iPad's going crazy. I remember this being a bit strange. Wait, why can't I see what his cuts are?
What deck is this, sorry?
The Quest Shaman.
The question.
So there's a Plague of Murlocs and a Vulpera Scoundrel, and my mind isn't picking up what the cuts... Oh, okay. So he's running only one former champ and zero gigs.
Yeah.
But that's all I can see, so I'm confused. But anyway, bit of a different list, bit more value, and a bit of extra game versus Priest. And we've seen as well Plague of Murlocs used as an aggressive tool as well. But yeah, very interesting, these players, just in terms of what they've submitted overall.
Yeah.
Just like I said, Zoo, Highlander... Zoo, Highlander Hunter, Quest Shaman, and Quest Druid, with both Druids being banned out. Ryvius bringing a much more normal sort of control priest, combo priest, but then Mali Druid, Mech Hunter, and Quest Shaman, which looks a little bit funky as well, because of Youthful Brewmaster and Walking Fountain.
Yeah, Ryvius has been a fan of the Youthful Brewmaster the last couple of weeks, including in his his Warrior last week to go with the extra fatigue with the Faceless here. This time, obviously, a very different game plan. I'm not trying to bounce Elysiana, more just for a little bit of extra value. And Walking Fountain, you know, I don't hate it at the moment. I think any card that you include in this deck that's not a cheap battle cry, you have to have a very, very good reason to do so. I'm not certain that this is a good enough reason, but I can see his reasoning behind it, of course. You know, with a lot of aggressive decks knocking about in Asia Pacific, it makes a lot of sense. Against Priest, I think it's honestly not that bad to just be able to take out one of their minions instantly.
And also, in a roundabout way of a side uses with Mutate and Evolve. Like Evolving 8 into 9 is actually, I think, pretty solid in the game right now. One thing we're still waiting to hear from is if Ryvius has ordered a new desk or not after last week, because he did hit it, I think, rather hard, as he got annoyed with one of his losses. Understandably so, very frustrating game to lose. But I believe his hand and the desk are safe. Going to game 1. Both players 4-4, so this is to just get that one extra edge in the division, one extra win. And it's going to be the Hunter versus the Shaman.
I think my desk punching days may be behind me. I think I'd actually just snap my wrist in two if I gave it a proper Ryvius punch now.
Just a Ryvius punch is the new martial arts you've got to learn.
That was full on.
I performed the... can you teach me the secret technique of the
Ryvius punch? Oh yes, you too must be hit in the face for 25 damage randomly off of a Shavala. And that's when you realise the power was inside you all along. You're just really angry.
Luckily, I felt like throwing my mouse a few times.
Oh yeah.
But I'm lucky enough to like have plenty of restraint to not. But I just put it down and walk away.
That's when you just put it down, you're like...
Yeah.
What is my life?
Yeah, that was me this week in Hearthstone. I didn't have a good week, guys.
This is the right way.
Really good opening for Ryvius, though. Plenty to do. And Mogu, you've got Wasp along with a Lackey to just burst down some minions that that Flurry's Hunter can, you know, threaten on the board. And now, though, we start to see the power of, well, maybe not quite now, but Desert Spear is looking really good versus Shaman right now.
Yeah, both players with actually surprisingly strong starting hands. I wonder who's going to be able to kind of break the serve, I suppose, if you want to put it, and pull ahead in this game. Because, like you said, both players have big, powerful cards that can swing it back in their favor. But as it currently stands, I think if Ryvius can find a Witchy Lackey or a Mutate, the sheer power of Mogu into an 8-drop will be able to pull him into the lead.
Got to remember though, there are secrets, there are deadly shots, there are plenty of things that can even unleash the beast, can be pretty effective versus the evolved targets. So the Hunter's got game versus big chunky minions. It's just whether Flurry gets to it, because of course he is playing a Highlander deck.
Desert Spear for 4 mana, still insane.
Yeah, honestly, I told you. The card's nuts. Look at this.
Yeah, that's pretty good here.
And it's the fact that you can do this 3 times is what makes it insane. Like,
in this
so
matchup,
much value.
It's looking pretty juicy.
Like this matchup versus Priest versus Zoo, like, it's so good.
Quest completion available this turn, of course, but nothing to go with it, as I believe he's at 5 out of 6. So I guess instead you're setting up for a powerful completion next turn. Like, of course, if Evil Totem were to be played, sorry, we're looking at Hero Power, Lackey, Weaponized Wasp next turn, which is a huge swing.
What about just playing the Wasp this turn anyway? Totem Wasp?
1 Wasp? Yeah.
Get a 3/3 on there.
I don't mind that.
Line it up.
That seems good.
Because you know the Totem's are dead 100% of the time.
Pretty much.
So I may as well just have a 3/3 on board. So can you trade into the Totem and deal with a 3/3 at the same time?
Drink with me, friend.
Okay. I guess this puts a slightly weaker body in play to up his value quite drastically. Which is something he has to consider, because I think this very possibly could end up going a little bit grindier. Given that Ryvius has Hex and Walking Fountain, I think it's going to be difficult for Flurry to pull too far into the lead. Or at least I should say to go for aggressive lethals.
Now Flurry can actually continue to defend. And what he could do now is actually play Hyena, hit into the 3/2, use the 1/1 into the 3/2 as well. And then I guess there's no good follow-up from that. He just gets to keep the 3/1, just Hero Power after. Maybe that's a little bit slow. The only problem is I think Subject 9 overdraws him.
I think it quite safely overdraws him, because he hasn't drawn a single secret yet.
Maybe that's just okay.
Value overwhelming.
The thing about Subject 9 is it sets up for secret into Alpha next turn.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think you play Subject 9. Like, what else can you do that's good? Everything else sucks.
I mean, getting a Hyena buffed and having a 3/1 and a 4/3 on the board.
I guess.
And an empty board. I don't think it's bad.
I just think being able to say my grandfather's deck has no bad cards anymore is easily worth it.
If you're a true Hunter player,
My hand.
you know that's true for turn 1, Darren.
There's nothing in your deck that can't point face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hope you like my
Mutate found now for Ryvius, which has to be at the forefront of his mind as a lightning fast mobile mutate.
It is into a 4-drop though, it's not the best.
No idea what I'm capable
Speaking of not the
My
best,
hand is too full.
I mean, that's fine. I've gotten enough heroic innkeepers recently to be happy with this.
I think snipe into freezing trap with the weapon swing could be pretty good here. I think this might be a secret stack turn. Oh no, swing face, play Hyena, snipe, freezing trap, trade the 1/1 to buff the Hyena. You get 4/4, 4/3, 2 secrets. The test almost certainly gets bounced, which is good for you, and you snipe a follow-up minion that they play this turn. Boom, solved. There you go, there you go, Flurry.
Yes. That sounds fine to me. And I think that's the big point here, right, is that everything is fine. There's so many good plays he can make. It's just about finding the best.
Anything you prefer?
I don't think so. I mean, I think your explanation literally fried my brain, so...
Oh.
You said hyena. You said witch.
I also said snipe freezing. Wow.
You might be anything, but you're a bit chilly. Halfway through your deck explanation.
I cannot believe this was better than than the other play.
It does set up for a bunch of beasts in play so that your Hyena can maybe get even more buffs. It's also kind of good to go a bit wide, right?
Float like a butterfly.
But then you're scared of going wider, right?
Because of MCT.
Yeah. And also,
I mean,
do
you can trade in.
Do you really want you to play hyenas with the intention of trading them? I don't know. Interesting.
Maybe.
CMAT, definitely not bad though.
Yeah.
Fury Rush. Clear up the majority of this threat.
Just a big multi-shot there.
And here's the one of the tech cards for Ryvius. Let's see how good he does. It healed him back up to, I'm not going to call it full, but more or less full.
I mean, it will have healed him up.
Yeah, if it takes a trade, yeah.
Which is insane. Like in this matchup, when drawing all these cards, Flurry's biggest game plan or highest chance of getting victory is to go all face. This is huge for Ryvius.
It's just that turn from Flurry, like he tanked 6, put himself to 18. That is a low health total when your opponent has a do your battle cries twice hero power. Like, oof.
It's got Ziliax, I guess, to try and make it a little bit easier to stomach.
Unity.
But I mean, I'm trying to get inside Flurry's head here. I fully appreciate my Highlander Hunter players. Not
The problem with that, so outlining the problem with Flurry's hand right now, it sounds weird to call it a problem, is he has tons of good stuff, but not even close to the mana required. Baited Arrow, great card. Houndmaster, great card. Unleash the Beast, fantastic. He wants to get this bow up with these secrets. All of this stuff he cannot do at the same time, of course, because the game would be laughably broken if that was the case. Or you'd be playing Priest. But he has to. The trick now with this hand is just working out exactly how and when to get the value. Explosive Trap's gone now, so it means this hand is this board is quite difficult to deal with these Divine Shields.
Yeah.
There's no Unleash in hand as well. So Flurry, instead of trying to deal with this board, is I think gonna have to go with the route of just making a strong board himself and say, this stuff isn't enough of a threat. I'll deal with it over the course of the turns. Maybe this is the time where Flurry thinks about getting this Rat Trap live. Getting Rat Trap live versus Shaman's great because they can never deal with it.
Defensive Houndmaster, despite the fact that it gives your minion taunt, kind of just always feels bad. You really just want to be playing this on a minion as it's going face as hunted pretty much every time.
Look at that 7 damage to face that didn't happen. Not because Flurry could make it happen, of course, but just because...
Brings a tier time.
Yeah, now this freezing trap's really bad for Flurry as well.
Yeah, look at this trade. Hex, I guess. I suppose you want to hold off on the Hex if possible.
I think like Lucky Wasp.
Yeah, Lucky Wasp seems better for sure. Oh yeah, then you can even rush
Hope you like my invention.
Huge.
Whoa! Very still.
Double time and double pay.
Would have loved a Rat Trap right about now.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
true.
Ryvius' hand is full. He has the battle cry live. You know there are lackeys there.
Yeah. And so maybe that is the case that Flurry should have gone for, is just play as many cards every turn as possible. Like, it seems kind of basic, but it just means you have the most stuff going on for you.
Yeah. No, people could argue that going to Starbucks for like a caramel frappuccino is pretty basic, but people like it anyway.
Exactly.
It's still good.
Barista will give you what you need, right? She's not here to judge.
Exactly. The eternally classic Unleash the Hounds into a Houndmaster. I love that animation of Golden Rat Trap, by the way. Have you seen it? With the little rat heads that pop up.
Oh, yeah.
So sick, because they see the cheese.
Combo here as old as time. Goes together like caramel and frappuccino.
Have you had one before?
Probably.
They're really good. It's my go-to.
I bet. I mean, it's kind of impossible for them to not be delicious. The
Right.
amount of sugar that's jammed in.
Oh, yeah. I think luckily for me, in terms of health,
Yes.
the Starbucks where we live here in Taiwan, it's actually closed for renovation right now.
That's true.
So that's probably
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a positive all around, isn't it? My bank account and my own health. This game now, there is this hyena, but we can see, I mean, Ryvius can take it. Pick and choose how he wants to deal with this. He has Hex. He could go for, to be honest, a part of it, I guess he could ignore it, but the Hex seems too good. And look at this, just so much damage already pushed forward now. The Hex locking out this hyena. And Flurry Okay.
He's
the
finding
sharp,
stuff.
The sharp intake of breath tells you everything you need to know about how good that draw was.
It does indeed. This is partly a nice draw to find, 1 in 10 to get it at this point. A little bit higher over 2 turns. But the main thing here is that by drawing every secret, just ripping it out of his deck, he's so much more likely to find these power plays.
That's very true. The problem is when you Zul'jin into Hero Power Mind Control tech.
Yeah.
That one hurts.
Ryvius here, naughty boy, didn't replace his lucky generators with non-golden versions.
Shocking. Kind of a close game, even though it looks kind of looks one-sided because Ryvius has so much stuff in hand.
Yeah.
He has so much value with the Barista, and he has the higher life total. But Flurry has a big axe in the form of that Zul'jin.
And that's the thing, right? It's Ryvius about making sure he can beat Zul'jin.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Those are good.
Double Froststruck over a Lightning Storm.
Yeah. Your Lightning Storm doesn't kill stuff from Zul'jin. I Unleash the Beast and potential Animal Companion.
You just want to freeze.
Just freeze them.
Yeah.
Just steal what you steal with MCT, freeze the others, then you've won, right? Like you follow-up turns, deal with the rest of the
I like
minions.
this a lot. Yeah.
It's a really good play.
He can freeze the Rat Trap as well.
Yep.
Kill off the Frog.
Oh,
This,
look at
yeah,
him.
this is perfect. This is perfect. If he got the attack in, this is perfect.
He did. Ryvius' desk is intact. Got the attack in.
There we go.
And look, but you got to think as well, it's probably not going to make. Maybe it ends up making some difference, but I think Flurry took 6 damage he didn't need to this turn, this game.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. It did just feel like he was not doing them. He was making reasonable plays, but for a 10-card hand, he should have been making more powerful plays.
Yeah, normally when you play Subject 9 for that many secrets early on,
Yeah.
you push the power, that you keep pushing it of what you can do because you've got like a technically overpowered hand because you've just drawn like what 5-6 cards.
Just go secret.
It's insane. So you just chuck it out, get the powerful ones down. Your opponent knows you've got them, so also can't really. Although your opponent just misplay into the wrong one, your opponent's got the fear of, well, now I have to play around them because I know what they are. Here comes the Zul'jin though. Here comes the Unleash the Beast. You've seen this one before. But it's all about Ryvius' response. Oh!
Okay. Getting nice here for Ryvius.
Unleash Beasts. Don't get me wrong, the secret pack from Zul'jin is obviously huge because it means that like Ryvius has just procced a Rat Trap and now he's got another one to deal with. Good trades.
Very nice. Mind Control tech. Unactive, of course. Inactive.
Definitely not reactive.
Well, it's actually purely reactive.
The mind control tech. Well, I guess the mind control tech reacts to the board by not doing anything.
Oh, in this instance,
Yeah.
it's too reactive.
Soaking the snipe, keeping the taunt. Good bread and butter play around the secrets. And now, well, if he plays anything else, yep, it's rat time. Is he just going to lose because it's like purely on this Zul'jin?
Maybe. Flurry can push pretty disgusting amounts of
20?
damage. Yeah. Is it not an Unleash the Beast in trade?
He doesn't want to go wide. Need to, right?
Oh, yeah.
The only way he loses
Fair enough,
is
fair
if he does something silly,
Yeah,
right?
you're correct.
He just pushed like 20 damage this turn.
Yeah.
Oh, he pushes 18 because he didn't. He could have deadly shot him for the 50-50 to push more. Not needed, of course.
Yeah. So what outs does Ryvius have for lethal now?
5, 6, 7. Well, that'll do it.
Double Kobold wins the game on the spot.
Single Cobalt does it too?
Not enough mana at it.
Oh, he's shot.
Oh no, he does when he bounces it with the Bog Slosher.
He
He
just got
gets
it
the
anyway.
double Kobold anyway.
Ryvius. You
Well,
mean...
there you go.
Look at him. He can't even keep a straight face. He tried. He tried. He was like, I'm just going to take a drink so no one sees that I'm laughing a lot. The cup's actually empty. This is just his laughter mode. Ryvius.
Wow.
Steals a win.
That's the out, I guess. Exactly, Ratty.
Now the tables have turned. hit 1 week and just holding them up next. Ryvius takes game number 1 over Flurry. And like I said, I feel like they were just, again, I feel like Flurry took damage that he didn't need to that game. The Zul'jin was actually sick. The play around MCT just saying, I'll push this damage. There's almost nothing he can get that beats me. And then I win. It's great. So really solid play, I think, towards the end there from Flurry. I just think that a few cards should have come down earlier. Rat Trap against Shaman is insane. So just play it. Just play it whenever you can because they'll have trouble with it no matter what. They have to have very specific outs. But Ryvius stole a win. You could put it like that, I guess, from Flurry. Game number 1. Let's go to a quick break while we start game number 2. We'll be right back.
That's the extra damage.
That is the extra damage. That is the extra damage. Power shield is lethal.
Did he not get it off?
Okay, yeah, second digits. Re-injuring in the next set. Re-injuring in the next set is the same damage. Oh, no! No!
He didn't get the attack off. He's torn, he doesn't know what to do.
All right, sure.
That's one way to end it.
Fine. I guess that works too.
Pretty long-winded way to go about finding the end of this game.
For 3 chance.
Yes.
I choose death. Oh, what is Hearthstone, Derek?
Absolute god, Alu Temu, hands up to the sky.
Oh, the Shaxi, I think when he plays it, we'll need to have an answer to.
Oh! He's got the answer.
Yeah, because he can.
Warpath trade and then the rush or whatever. That's game.
Do you like Zoo TJ?
I love Zoo a lot. Practice
Thank
it.
you. I love you too.
Hiya. Octosari lethal. No! That's the nightmare. But he just loses now. He's got 8 arms, you just thwacked all of them once. I've got 2 left.
What a way to go out. Unfortunate.
Stand up on the casting chair with me, TJ.
Nope.
Stand!
I think it would collapse.
Casters, rise up. No, wait. There's much more important things at stake, people. Come on!
Results. They're a lovely thing.
25.
Oh my gosh. No way.
We've got Flurry versus Ryvius continuing now, and Ryvius taking a cheeky win over Flurry against that Hunter with his Quest Shaman. We are moving on to game number 2. Both players at a 4-4 score overall in Grandmasters Season 2. So whoever wins here is going to put that 1 foot forward in terms of just securing that top 4 spot, Derek.
Yeah, similar story for Ryvius this season in Grandmasters as it was last season, where he had a pretty reasonable scoreline. I think it's fair to say nothing too impressive or too miserable. But for a player of his caliber, one of, in my opinion, the most outstanding players from the Asia-Pacific region, at least during the HCT system in previous years, he's definitely got his sights set on playoffs and getting through to there. It's not good enough to do good enough for him. Yeah,
I completely agree. I think that not only does he have a strong ability to play the game, but he's very creative as well in the way he approaches the game. It's something I like to see get rewarded, and this is part of one of the different things that he's done in this week. He's bringing a Mech Hunter. He's going to be going up against Flurry's Zoo. Zoo, I would say, weirdly, one of the most popular decks from the Asia-Pacific region. A lot of players been bringing Zoo as like the go-to number 4 deck. It interests me because it's not something I would personally go for at the moment.
Me neither.
Even though we have seen some powerful runs with it. We'll see how it does versus Mech Hunter, though.
Yeah, it's one of the interesting differences between the regions. In America, I believe, we have no Warlocks, full stop, represented across the entire region. Whereas here, I think we have like 8 Zoo, I think. Or
probably at
7
least,
Zoo.
yeah.
Yeah. Very, very popular here indeed. Whenever you are going for an aggressive lineup, I suppose you kind of have to go for Zoo in the
Yeah. We see there's some decent follow-up. I do like the trade into the Mecha. It makes this this buff a lot weaker.
Yeah. It's a pretty strong game plan though for Ryvius.
Yeah.
2-drop here, coin replicates in Menace, Fireworks tech. Hope that wins the game, I think is the current game plan.
I wonder whether it would be... I guess it works out the same. I was thinking of whether he goes coin Spider Bomb instead.
I don't like holding onto the
I think
coin.
it works out the same.
Yeah.
Oh well. That'll do.
I was definitely looking at just Spider Bomb there to try and go for an even trade, but if your opponent goes wide on board, obviously, that becomes significantly harder to pull off.
Both players playing on Lightning though.
Yeah, they are.
At least the first few
Big
turns.
time. Which is interesting because with aggressive decks, it's very often the case that your earliest turns should be slowest because you need to figure out every single turn. It's the most important turns of the game in an aggro mirror. It's the only turns in the game in an aggro mirror. It's the early turns.
One thing Flurry has to worry about in this matchup is Bomb Hunter, notorious for the high damage output and consistent damage output he can put forward. And then with Neverset Thrasher, along with taps, well, you're going to help that damage output pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you keep attacking. So see what happens now. The attack with the Much, though, fantastic. And well, it's a lot of damage to both players.
Yeah. How does this work now for Ryvius? Does he ever leave them alive?
Oh, no. Look at this. Bomb into coin.
Yeah. 2 out of 3 times he gets a board clear. It's pretty nuts, actually.
I wonder what this does.
I mean...
Oh, no, it still was...
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a board clear, but it's pretty close.
He could have taken a full board clear there, right, by trading into the Thrasher instead. It would have obviously meant he doesn't have a 4-1 in play. Because the Death Rattle would have killed off the
I
Vulture.
think he doesn't care, though,
Yeah,
right?
I think
if this Thrasher attacks, he's actually happy. Because it gets cleared most of the time anyway. Except he just pushes a bit more damage.
I totally agree.
Already getting close with Leroy in hand. The Hero powers are just going to be lethal soon.
Man, what a silly deck. Flurry, despite obviously the incredibly powerful plays coming down in the early turns for Ryvius, seems to have stabilized the board here. This 1 health Thrasher is such a threat to Ryvius. You just can't get rid of it.
Yep, and that's where the replicating melees comes out now, right? Just get the bots on reasonably sticky, so hopefully something will land for Ryvius and stick on the board, which means he can follow up with Wargear, he can follow up with Venomizer, just get something I think the big thing he really wants is a missile launcher right now. Like, I feel like versus Zoo, it does so much work. And obviously the usual missile launcher to Venomize at turn 8, or on 8 mana at least, is really good for cleaning up most of the board.
Double Juggler obviously allows for Flurry to really start dominating the board. And so in this instance for Ryvius, when he starts seeing cards like this, what is his game plan? Is it hold on to Venomizer absolutely to try and find a missile launcher to win back the board? Is it push as much damage face every turn so that Leroy can win the game? How does he play that?
I don't know, to be honest. This is the age-old problem with Mech Hunter, and why I actually really dislike the deck in general, is that it's so one-dimensional that if you fall behind, you normally just lose. Like, it's not much there if you're not doing enough damage.
I suppose it does have to be rookie here. It hurts to miss the hero power, but to try and win back the board is pretty necessary.
This is still looking good, though.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We're seeing something come together here for Ryvius. A Lackey is pretty huge, though.
See which one it is. Discover means you normally get at least one decent choice based on situation.
Juggler Goblin to rush it in. Maybe.
What about?
It's like it's the quickest one, but you maybe want a
Does
little bit
Witchy
extra
ever
value.
just give you the biggest board?
Maybe, I can't
Just
remember.
Witchy into Evil Recruiter. Well, there's a Direwolf and a Juggler, right?
Okay.
So you can just do some trades, buff the Direwolf, then Evil Recruiter the Lackey.
Yeah. Okay.
You can even play the first Juggler, right? Oh, I don't know what spell he's looking for.
This apple on your head.
I think just general value because his hand's running so empty now.
Darkest Hour, let's go. So I guess Fiendish
Probably
Circle.
Fiendish Circle.
Ooh.
I'd rather have a random demon.
Then 4 non-random demons.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
It's your lucky day.
Like, this is not a card that should ever be played. This was put into the basic set to fill things out. Oh, pretty cool. Knife juggles there. But either way, the main upshot of this is that Ryvius is able to pull far ahead on the board, and Ryvius is now in that instance where it is either, as we were saying, Hero Powers and Leroy, or Top Deck Missile Launcher. And I don't think Hero Powers and Leroy gets there quick enough.
Frustration with the Juggler as well is you can't just play Leroy. Like, sometimes you just go like Leroy Hero Power and try and do stuff like that, but it's not good enough because he's Leroy. He's going to go for it. Gets he feels he has to. He can attack with it. It lived. Well, it also adds 4 damage to the, well, kind of 3 to 4 damage to the board, depending on how the trades go. And also...
Well, with the Grim Rally as well, it's just grim, to say the least. One of the reasons why Mech Hunter has been so completely absent from Grandmasters so far. Just no one has been playing this deck.
Yep. It's... Also, didn't hit the matchup he wants, right?
For sure, yeah. He's trying to hit
almost
Warrior.
certainly wants like a Druid, and
Warrior.
anything slow, Warrior, and I'd argue maybe it's okay versus Priest with the bombs.
I guess so.
stuff.
A lot of
like
early
maybe it's
disruption,
alright.
poisonous.
Decent sticky minions, so you can get some good trades.
I could
with.
see that. Vile Fiend pretty huge as well, just as one of the few lifesteal demons to just pretty much put Ryvius on only Missile Launcher as his chance to win the game.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Because he just trades it with Grim Rally, but still. So much damage. I don't know what single card Ryvius could get outside of exactly Missile Launcher. That was it.
Not that one.
And that was the game. Flurry going to even this series up. Take another one to game.
Flurry always looks so stoic for a win or a loss. Is he... I've been watching some of his streams recently. He doesn't seem quite that... just completely devoid of emotion. He shows a little bit on stream.
Oh
at
yeah,
least.
on stream.
Yeah.
He
Laughing
either
about.
shouts a lot when he loses,
Yeah.
or he sings a little bit as well. If you want to catch his stream sometimes. But yeah, I think with Flurry, he's just, although he is a pretty big streamer actually, big Korean streamer. I think on one side he's entertains on his stream and does a lot of like cool stuff. But I think when he competes, he's deadly serious.
Yeah.
He's not transfers this, I guess, personality people attach to streamers of, oh, lighthearted, don't really mind too much about competitive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, I do this over here, but when I play seriously. And I think that's what it's like. Even when I interviewed Flurry for the for Grandmasters, he's a lot of fun and very chatty. But when he's talking about his competitive side, he's like, no, I play to win. I'm really serious. I want to perform well. I want to qualify. So it's kind of impressive that you can do it both.
It really is. We've seen that from a lot of the Grandmasters here as well. I think Dawn is in a similar situation as well, being relatively popular streamer. Shows a little bit more joviality when he's playing at the very least. But yeah, Flurry, cold-hearted when he gets into it. He's a killer. Yeah,
and I like it. It just shows that he's just, he's taking the game very seriously. Win or loss, it's just like very important for him to perform well. And he has a lot of competition as well, because as I've said before, there's a lot of Korean players in Asia Pacific Grandmasters, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah,
so
they are.
And to gain the respect, and you definitely want to be the best Korean player with so many players from your country, you want to be the best out of all of them, as well as the best in Grandmasters. Let's go into it. Game number 3, and it's like a priest.
In the light's name.
And it looks like a pretty good pre-starting hand to me. None of the truly broken stuff quite yet. But speaking of truly broken stuff, Flurry has found it. This is the dream starting hand for him on the other side.
What do you do though?
I mean,
this is hard. It's strong but hard.
Coin Zephyrus backstab. Like, what does that shut down? It means that
Trades
Tolvir, it trades with Tolvir.
Trades with a cleric follower.
Yeah.
I know what you
Just play slow.
What can go wrong here? If they play Tolvir,
Tolvir Circle is a nightmare.
Tolvir Circle is a nightmare. Tolvir Circle is pretty bad. I don't think you can play around exactly that, given that neither of the cards were kept in the mulligan. But now, coin Zephyrus into Forked Lightning. If you were to trade the 1/1 in first, does of course win you board. Is there anything better than that I'm not seeing off of Zephyrus?
Call me crazy. Is Snake's ever just better? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Fair enough.
Because now it requires a trade. It kills the Light Warden without a buff. It doesn't kill, but it damages the Tolvir. Oh, is he gonna trade it in? I think I would have waited.
Yeah. To actually.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Good.
Yeah.
And you get 3 1/1s, which yes, we can see there's a pyro and powered shield. Great.
Yeah.
But I think that opened up more chances of Flurry actually winning this board. And when Hunter has the board, it's very difficult for Priest to get back.
Did it open up more chances than just coin Zephyrus backstab on turn 1 though? Because if you do that, the only bad thing that can happen, I think, is Tolvir plus Circle of Healing, right? Everything else you can just trade with. And then you play your Hyena on 2, you're ahead on board.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Hey,
I just think he could have got
friend.
decisively ahead on board right from turn 1.
I guess the problem is if he just Tolvir power shields on 3 or something. He just doesn't play so much into a turn. He just doesn't play a Tolvir on 2 into your Zephyrus, right? I guess that's the problem. If you make such an obvious strong play, I mean, it is a good play, don't get me wrong, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But then Ryvius just waits a little bit. This deck can definitely hold. You don't have to just spam everything out on turn 1 and 2.
Absolutely. And the benefit of Flurry's play is quite clearly he is in a worse situation than if he'd gone for that. But he still has Zephyrus, which is huge.
Right,
that can absolutely just bail you out
and that's
of any
it, right?
situation.
Like Zephyrus backstab on just a turn 1 Light Warden, or Zephyrus Pain on an Amit, or Silence
so
on a big minion. That's game-winning stuff right there.
And that's what he needs to think here. Does he go coin Zephyrus Silence to make sure that his 8/5 survives here, or is he afraid of Amit? Does he need to keep his Zephyrus for Amit? The answer in the end, yes.
Going back chat means he has access to Zephyrus Pain a lot of the time.
I like that, yeah.
Zephyrus Frostbolt, Zephyrus X.
Yeah, I think while I've been advocating for Zephyrus use earlier, this turn, when you're facing down a potential Amit next turn, I like holding it.
Yeah, just let him do stuff. And also, if Ryvius heals into trades on this high, you know what? Great! Crack on.
Cycle Bomb here would have been insane though for Ryvius, with I believe the only minion dying. The Tolvir at that point, but I don't think there was anything Ryvius could have done about that.
Your wish is my suggestion.
Yep, I think it's pretty much this play.
Next turn, there's either baited arrow to make a 5/5 or
That's
subject
pretty
9
huge.
draws USC secrets.
Yeah.
Like, I think Flurry's really just divvied out his resources very, very well this game. And whenever you keep up with Priest, something's going great, right? In my experience, at least.
Oh, he really, really doesn't want it to be Rat Trap. Does he? What's he ruled out? He's ruled out Snipe,
Freezing.
Freezing.
The
He's ruled out Pressure Plate. I think he knew it was exactly that, right? It was that or Explosive.
No, because he tapped face, right? He hit one
Right.
to face last turn.
And also, he coined it out. What secret are they going to coin out other than Rat Trap? Or maybe
Or
Pressure Plate,
Pressure
which you
Plate,
know
yeah.
it isn't. Yeah.
And
I think I
again,
like it.
look, so good. And now he has to reset because he knows all of the secrets are available from next turn onwards from Flurry. And Flurry's just about, I feel, wrestled his way to the top of this game.
Yeah, it's just absolute nightmare scenario for Ryvius. He needs Samdi, he needs Amit. I don't even know what he can look for at this point. It's an aggro deck, and his initial push failed. Flurry stabilized.
I think he needs to just hold.
Hold everything.
Maybe he plays Topsy for a trade.
But it's the Rat Trap, though. It's that Rat Trap that means he can't go for a big explosive turn without falling behind again.
It depends how explosive, right? If he goes Amit,
Fair.
if he gets Samdi exactly next turn, and then
Amit
goes
the
Amit
turn
into
after.
like 4 or 3, one drops,
guess
then
that works.
suddenly
Yeah.
we'll enjoy your 1/6/6 friend. Ryvius
In the
is
light
playing
lane.
Samdi because I know there's a good chunk of players that are not, so I just actually want to double check.
Oh, I'm on Flurry's list, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to Ryvius. Yeah, he is, yeah. He's just playing the list. The Casper.
The rank 1 Casper list, Not a play you're ever happy
shot.
to make. Okay.
Oh!
Okay.
All right.
There is a game that is now occurring.
I wish I could do this in my own game. Yeah, what if Raven just draws lethal next turn? Like, that'll be sick. And those are good one-drops too. Like, if there's one-drops that are getting you back in the game, it's Cleric.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
it's
get
the
some
only
cards
thing.
drawn.
Yeah.
Circle's already in hand.
And like you said, Amma off the top, maybe we're talking. Maybe.
Just maybe. And I like this. Just forget about Sandy. Doesn't matter.
It just doesn't quite work. He needs another spell because obviously he can't trade and then double Cleric and then heal because it's Freezing Trap.
Yeah. The one spell hurts his soul a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Is someone
He has to
injured?
go in though. I think, yeah. It's the only turn. He's just dying. I guess it's a circle and then
Heal.
heal.
Draw X.
Yeah.
What's scary is a part of me's like, maybe Ryvius wins this game. just because when 2 clerics
I guess
and
so.
card draw is available,
I guess so.
the game gets scary.
Yeah. If he could find another circle of healing here, maybe. He just can't clear up enough of the board, though. He just takes too much damage, I think.
So heal but Sandy pass.
Yeah.
So 6, 9, 14, 16 with hero power.
All right, so if it's not a lethal on this turn, we're looking at clearing off the board, right?
Wait, so
Oh, if Ryvius does win. What happens if you just push everything face?
Unity.
you should play the explosive, right?
Okay.
The frustration. Okay, yeah. So the frustration is if you play explosive
Isolate.
after a freezing, then the explosive goes off. The freezing goes off whilst proccing the explosive.
Yes.
So it means that like Ryvius can kind of debate the freezing trap.
Right.
Because freezing was played first. So this is, I think, what Flurry's gave a nod to, is that because he can't go the other way, he wants to instead guarantee this freezing and isolate Bonsamdi.
I like this a lot.
And one note as well, for the future, log this one. I believe it's Stars who is playing the, what's it really called? The 2/5 charge.
Oh, Stormwind
Stormwind
Knight.
Knight. He's playing that in his deck, which these tricks would not work that well against. because Storm with Night Prot's Freezing Trap, and then you just buff one side. You know, I'm being serious though, right? It's one card that actually makes a big difference in how you play the matchup and how you play against the matchup.
I think it's a card I actually don't like at the moment. I can think of many instances where it could be good, but I think personally that's not what makes the deck good at the moment. It's not trying to be a combo deck, it's trying to be an aggro deck that has this combo capability.
I just think it creates like a weird situation in this exact
for sure,
matchup, right?
For sure. I mean, in a bunch of matchups, it changes the way you play quite fundamentally.
Being able to kill taunts. Look at the taunt stacks.
Good point. Very good
kill
point.
off a taunt and then hit him with your big dude.
Yeah.
Maybe you just play Stone to Spore in this deck. We go full circle.
Getting full something.
Okay, so I often talk about kill all priest minions. This is one of the circumstances where I think you go face with everything.
Can he not quite easily clear off everything other than the Bonsamdi again? And I think if he does this, there's just no way he
You know what? I kind of forgot he'd drawn that many cards.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I actually take it back.
I was thinking the same thing as you.
I wasn't really looking at the card count. I was like, oh wait, 9 cards. Like, Ryvius has played most of his minions. Never mind.
All right, 3 mana, draw a card.
He's got silence.
I don't even know what he's praying for here.
Does he not? Wait, he's not prod freezing trap and
No,
we don't know about it.
No. There's nothing he can draw.
Should he have just swung and replayed it? Wait, gets the freezing trap out of the way.
So I can play at 9 mana. It just dies. I see your point. Like,
You know,
nothing wins the game.
There's literally nothing, right? Maybe your opponent misplays and you get to swing. That's going to be game. I don't see anything. Priest. Bonsamdi finally gets frozen. Returns safely to the hand. But Flurry's going to take the series regardless. And it looked close, that one. And Flurry kind of got a win stole away from it, I feel, with that Hunter versus Sherry matchup in game number 1. And did manage to recover, though, and get the job done. And we see Priest maybe losing more games than we're used to this weekend.
It's true. I wonder if it's players starting to get the hang of playing against it more. I think it's also players are teching for it more. We're seeing more Spellbreakers knocking about a couple of Plague of Murlocs as well in the Shaman decks to try and figure out what's happening against Priest. But, you know, I think as with any deck that gets as much hype as Priest does, it, as I've said, reaches an almost mythical status already.
Yes. It can't literally win every game.
Exactly. It's not as good as people are making it out to be. It's the best deck, probably, in my opinion. But it's all relative, right? It's not that game-breakingly good.
Okay. I think it's very, very strong, but yeah.
I think it's a problem, but I think players are making it out to be the ultimate deck to end all decks, which is not the case.
Yeah, I think when
it has very real weaknesses.
Yes, and when you consider as well, like, no deck can just win every single game, right? And there are some bad draws you can have. As we've seen in some matchups, Warrior, look at Hunter, there are some draws that are very good versus Priest. And kind of locks it out. You look at the removal and the rush minions from Warrior, and then you look at the traps from Hunter. Those are the real, like, well, the second you don't do really broken things, the game kind of progresses. But we can progress through today as well, as we can move